Don't miss the moment. The phrase, spending your time, is not a metaphor. It's how life works. Each of us is born with a finite amount of time deposited in our life account. How we spend it is up to us. Every day reflects how we choose to spend our time. We should learn to spend it wisely. I made the following statement in a sermon I preached. At best, life is nothing more than a series of little moments. Seldom are our lives impacted by the major moments. Rather, it is the little moments that matter most. Don't miss the little moments. Years ago, I attended an Associational Missionaries Conference in Toccoa, Georgia. I heard the executive director of the Georgia Baptist Convention, Dr. J. Robert White, tell a very personal story about missing one of life's little moments. He said that while still serving as a pastor, he left the church office one afternoon, heading home. He stated that as he walked toward his car, leaving his day behind, he was thinking about the supper his wife would have waiting for him. As he continued walking toward his car, one of his church members, whose husband had recently come home from the hospital, drove by, blew the horn, threw up her hand, and waved at him. As he waved back, he thought about her husband being sick and how, due to his illness, it had been several weeks since they had been able to attend church. He thought, I should go visit with them right now. However, he also thought about how hard his wife worked to prepare his supper, and that if he made the visit, his supper would get cold. He made the decision, as most of us would, to go home and eat instead of making the visit. As soon as he finished his meal, the phone rang. The voice on the other end of the line told him that the gentleman had just died very unexpectedly. As Dr. White continued, his voice broke and tears began to well in his eyes. After a long pause, tears streaming, he looked into the eyes of that group of associational missionaries and said, Gentlemen, I missed the moment. As he told his story, my mind raced back to my first pastorate. Her name was Mrs. Cotton. She was a 70 to 80-year-old widow who lived with her son in our church community. She wasn't a member of my church. In fact, I met her as part of our weekly visitation program. Health issues prevented her from attending church. But the fact that she couldn't attend the church didn't prevent us from forming a fast friendship. I soon discovered that she was a delightful Christian lady with an extremely sharp mind. She was just trapped in an old person's body, a body that had been racked by time and sickness. For some reason, she latched on to this young preacher boy and began to love, encourage, and pray for me. She adopted me as her preacher boy. And you guessed it, it wasn't long until I found myself going out of my way to ensure that I visited with her each week. Sometimes our visits would last for over an hour. When I left, I always felt on top of the world. Imagine that, an 80-year-old woman and a then 20-year-old preacher boy, best of buds. She checked into the hospital for surgery. I had prayer with her that morning before she went into the operating room. I told her I would see her when she came back. This particular hospital was small. Consequently, the intensive care unit doubled as the recovery room. When her surgery was complete, a nurse came into the waiting room to get me. She told me that my friend had made it through the surgery just fine, was awake, and was calling for me. She had something she wanted to tell me. As the nurse and I walked toward the recovery room, another nurse met us at the door and told me I would have to wait. They were having an emergency with another patient in the ICU, and they would have to deal with that before I would be allowed back. In the time it took for them to deal with the other patient, my friend aspirated and died. As long as I live, I will never forget the feeling I had when they told me my friend had died. I will never know what she wanted to say to me. I missed the moment. As I pondered what Dr. White had said and about my friend, I began to think about how grateful I am that there are moments in my life that I did not miss. I'm grateful that as an 18-year-old, standing in Bethel Chapel Baptist Church in LaGrange, Georgia, with a bass guitar strapped over my shoulder. The most gorgeous creature I had ever laid eyes on walked through the back door, and I had enough sense not to miss that moment. Marianne and I have been married for over 51 years now. She's the mother of our 3 children, Nana to our 7 grandchildren, and Grana to 2 great-grandbabies. She's also my best friend, and she's the person I want to grow old with. I'm thankful I didn't miss that moment. I'm grateful that as a parent, there were some moments I didn't miss. I'm thankful for first steps, first bike rides, skinned knees, first grade, honors day programs, ball games, cheerleading, first dates, puppy love, broken hearts, go-karts, motorcycles, first cars, time spent in the yard throwing a baseball or a football with my son, and for being the most honored guest at my girls' tea parties. I'm grateful for days spent in the rain at the local football stadium watching my children march in a high school band. I'm thankful for weddings, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and the miracle of birth, which my 2 daughters allowed me to witness. Robert Frost said he could describe life in 3 words: it goes on. For those hearing this devotion today, I have a word of encouragement for you. Don't miss the little moments of your life. As I said in the beginning of this devotion, the phrase spending your time is not a metaphor. It's how life works. Each of us are born with a finite amount of time in our life account. How we spend it is up to us. Each day reflects how we choose to spend our time. We should learn to spend it wisely. In the movie Lonesome Dove, Augustus McCrae is on his horse, about to ride into town. Captain Woodrow Call yells at him, "Augustus, you're going to get your fool self killed." Augustus stops his horse, turns in his saddle, looks at Captain Call, smiles, and says, "Woodrow, you just don't get it, do you? It ain't about dying, it's about living." Sometimes I think we're guilty of knowing how to make a living, but not a life. When you gaze deeply into the reflecting pool of your life, what do you see? As you travel your life path, don't be so caught up in life that you miss the joy of the journey. Sometimes the destination's not what's important. It's the journey getting there. The joy of life is not found simply in having the right destination. Joy is found in learning to enjoy the journey. Life goes on. Be sure you don't miss it. I think I'll give one of my grandbabies some chocolate. Lord, I believe with all my heart that there will be somebody, probably many somebodies, who will hear this devotion today who truly need to hear it, Lord. They have lost the joy in the journey. God, they've allowed their lives to become so cumbered about and just, Lord, filled with all kind of stuff, God, that they've lost sight of the joy that's found in the journey. Lord, they're missing the moments of their life. Lord, they're sacrificing their children on the altar of careers or whatever. Lord, whoever I'm speaking to today, God, give them a clear understanding that life is more about all the secular stuff they think important. God, remind them to pull aside and not miss the moments of their life. In your name, amen.